Hi, Ashley.
Hey, Robyn. Welcome back.
Here we are again.
We've gotten really efficient with our time. We film a bunch of these at once.
We are filming 2 episodes today, just due to the fact of the holiday season, Christmas, New Year's. So we decided let's just take a full afternoon and get quite a few recordings done today.
Yes, and by big afternoon, I mean, it's going to be what, like 4 hours, I think.
Yes.
4.5.
4.5
hours, yeah. I like doing it that way, though. It frees up our time. It's good. And it's just crazy to me that we're already at the holidays. Like, looking back, I would have never anticipated any of this would have happened. Like, I remember, where was I? Oh, me and Ella went to Target the other day to get some supplies for her. She was doing some baking. And my friend Ella and Robyn knows Ella as well. But we were in the clothes section, of course, and we found just so many fun like clothes that they've got there. And some of them are ridiculous. Some of them are very cute. But anyways, I found this big, like oversized leopard print jacket, that huge leopard print. And Robyn knows I have like a weird leopard print obsession. I have a lot of leopard print. Anyways, Ella made me try it on. And then we just started going back to the whole Carole Baskin Tiger King thing. And then I was like, remember that came out at the very beginning of COVID. And I was just like thinking back, I was like, that feels like it was forever ago, but that was at the very beginning of the pandemic. And I was like, think back to where you were when Tiger King came out and just how I just thought we at the time thought it was going to be like 2 weeks in quarantine. And now look at us, we're what, 9 months?
Like several months later, a ton of months later.
It's just funny because I was like, oh, I just look back to my naive self watching Tiger King, thinking that we're going back. Like 2 weeks, no.
The other day, Matt and I were talking about fishing, or I don't remember what it was. Anyways, we mentioned salmon, and I remembered when you were here in July, and that seems like forever ago.
That seems forever too. Yeah, it's so funny, like looking back, because I mean, it does. July. I told someone the other day about that trip, and I was like, God, that was July. Like, that's so long ago. It's just, it's so funny. Robyn and I were like kind of reminiscing a little while ago though, and talking about like, yes, 2020 has been kind of crazy, but we're pretty adamant that it's been our best year. I mean, I feel like every year gets better though. I don't know if you're like that or if it's just this year.
No, you're right. Yes, I do think that every year gets better. I think it's because you and I are continual learners. We push each other to learn. And even before we met each other, you just push yourself to learn more things and to adapt and move forward. Yeah, 2020 was honestly one of my best years ever. And ironically, the half marathon that we were supposed to do in
August was supposed to happen.
My number was 2020. And I thought, how ironic. This is such a great year for me.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, I love synchronicities. I think it's so, I believe that they happen for a reason. It's just really interesting. I don't know, like looking back and reflecting. And I mean, that's pretty much what this episode's about, isn't it?
It sure is. I do remember my mom telling me when you saw signs that meant that you were on the right path. And that's one of the things that you and I talked about the very first time we met was knowing about when you do see those signs, you know, this is the right path. I'm on the right path. Keep forward. So yes, I'm all about them as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, without further ado, this episode is, I don't know if we have a special title for it, but kind of reflecting on past of 2020, but mostly looking forward to our New Year's resolutions of 2021.
You know what's ironic about that is, you know me, I did do some research. And
how do you do research on your own New Year's resolutions?
I know. I did though. It's from the History Channel, so I'm citing my source.
I love me some History Channel.
Yes, Ashley, I love the History Channel.
I have like 2 apps on my Apple TV, and it's 3: YouTube, Netflix, and History Channel. I watch 80% of History Channel.
Yeah, the History Channel is awesome. So let me give you And I learned quite a bit as well, and our listeners a little bit of history. So as we know, civilizations around the world have been celebrating the start of each new year for at least 4 millennia.
Wow.
That seems just crazy.
That seems a long time that I didn't know.
Yeah. Today, most New Year's festivities begin on December 31st, at least we do here in the United States, and the last day of the Gregorian calendar, and continue into the early hours of January 1st. So common traditions include attending parties, eating special New Year's foods, making resolutions for the new year, and watching fireworks displays.
Yeah.
The earliest recorded festivities in honor of a New Year's arrival date back to some 4,000 years ago to ancient Babylon. The Babylonians, the first new moon following the vernal equinox, so the day in late March with an equal amount of sunlight and darkness, which here is really March 20th, because that was my dad's birthday.
Cool.
And there's quite a bit of history of it. I won't read everything, but it's a lot of praying to the gods. There's a sky god. And during the time, a new king was crowned, or that the current ruler's divine mandate was symbolically renewed. And when Ashley and I were talking about it, Ashley was thinking more of looking at the past and looking forward. And I was really only looking forward and not looking at the past. But here's something that I did read. Let me find it quick. It's with Julius. Where did it state?
I just think it's cool that this has been happening for 4,000 years, because you have to think they had almost the same calendars. I mean, I don't know how long the Gregorian calendar's been around, but you kind of hinted to it. But it's been around forever.
Yeah. And then the Julian calendar is our current calendar. So the Gregorian calendar was only 304 days and 10 months. And the Julian calendar added January and February with what we know now. So here's something interesting, Ashley, that you had made a comment about. As part of his reform, Caesar instituted January 1st as the first day of the year, partly to honor the month's namesake, Janus, the Roman god of beginnings, whose two faces allowed him to look back into the past and forward into the future. Isn't that so?
Look at us segueing and not even knowing it. That's so cool.
So all of our listeners know we don't really prepare for these interviews.
No.
But I do research typically. And I thought that was interesting. So when you just mentioned that about looking to the past and going forward, and Tyler Borst, who we interviewed for the December 15th drop, he too was looking at the past and going forward. And I started to think to myself, am I the only person who looks forward? Maybe because I do so much self-reflection during the year and pretty much every day. So maybe that's why I didn't think about looking back.
Part of the reason I think it's important to sometimes, and I think a lot of our listeners, there's a difference between dwelling on the past and like staying in the past, because I think this year has been a year of immense growth for both you and I. And I definitely don't want to dwell in the past, but it's one of those things that like I feel like I can't necessarily, I feel like in order to make New Year's resolutions, I have to take a bit of like what I've learned in order to, that's just me though. Like looking to the past, it's like, okay, this is how much I've grown. This is going to help me in what I'm planning on doing in the future. I think I have to like touch on that a little bit when I'm just coming up with New Year's resolutions.
How long have you been making New Year's resolutions? Is it something that you do every year?
Recently, probably since I was in college. I actually am like thinking back, that's a good question, because now I'm actually thinking, I don't think I ever made them when I was younger. Like my parents probably were like, oh, I mean, I knew about New Year's resolutions, but I don't think I had to make them. Like my parents never were like, oh, let's all make New Year's resolutions. So
I never was either.
Yeah. When was yours?
When I started doing New Year's resolutions?
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever been consistent doing New Year's resolutions. And a part of it is because I always feel like I'm on a path. And so therefore my path doesn't necessarily start and stop at the end of December and going into January. My path is typically just it keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
So some years I do make them and some years I don't, but I am this year.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that though, because I kind of feel sometimes I'm a little cynical about New Year's resolutions because of something very similar to that, because I feel sometimes we can get so caught up on the idea of a goal when there's so much of it. And you preach this all the time. Timing is everything. And if something is meant to happen, who says that it needs to happen within the year? And oftentimes, like, things at least in my world, things kind of just happen when they happen. And I do have some control over it, but in the end, like, timing is everything. And so you're right. Like, sometimes it might not happen within a year, but typically all the things that have needed to happen have happened anyways, just maybe not in my timing, but I don't know. Interested to know more about that, Robyn. I don't know.
I did make some New Year's resolutions. I've been thinking about it for about the past month when you and I talked about, let's do a New Year's resolution podcast because I think that would be super fun. And you agreed. Something that I never thought that I would say was that I would miss 75 hard.
What? Say it again. Scream into the roof. I
miss 75 hard.
Oh my goodness.
I have been getting back to 75 hard, not stringent, not, every 2 45-minute workouts a day, like 1 in the morning, 1 at night. But I have tried to implement something like that, not a gallon of water a day. I try to get 75 ounces in a day at minimum, try to get 100. I have not been doing well doing any motivational or leadership reading. So I really want to get back to that.
I've been bad about that too. We can help each other on that.
Yeah. It's not that I don't want to. I just took a break from it. So one of my New Year's resolutions, I have two.
Yay, drum roll.
Drum roll. I have 2 major ones. The first one is health. It's getting healthy. I'm not going to go on a diet. I'm not going to count calories. I'm not going to step on the scale every day or every week. It's really about living my best life and being healthy, making better choices. And one of those choices is not wasting food. I don't know if you're a food waster, but I just threw a quarter of a turkey away that I could have cut up, put in the freezer, put into, the famous Midwest casseroles that we have up here.
But they're delicious.
They are delicious.
They're famous for a reason. Yeah. I've had Robyn's cooking. It's yummy.
I've had your cooking and it's delicious. So being more healthy and being active.
Love that.
And being active at least 15 minutes a day. And I've done a really great job of it so far.
Yeah.
I want to
send me things too. I mean, I see when you do your walks and stuff. I do have a suggestion the freezing thing, there's not much you can do if it's too late. But have you heard of Blue Apple? This has saved me a lot on vegetables and fruits.
You did. You told me
okay.
Last summer.
Okay, good. So for our listeners that haven't heard of it, it is so cool. And it saved me a lot of money because I like fresh vegetables. And so I'll buy them and they go like fresh vegetables. If you've ever had them before, sometimes go bad in like 3 days. And so I was trying to look for an alternative. That Blue Apple, what it does is, I believe it's methane gas, ethylene gas, something. There's some type of gas that whenever you buy vegetables, it lets off, and basically that's what causes it to rot. And what the Blue Apple does is it's like a little blue apple, and it has a little pouch that you stick inside. And what that pouch does is absorbs that gas that the fruits put off. And what it does is it like extends your vegetables life by like 2 or 3 times. It is crazy, but that's really helped me as far as that. The nutrition stuff, I'm not a nutritionist, so but we did have a nutritionist on for the 15th, so glad we had that. But yeah, nutritionists, I think a lot of people sometimes focus too much when they're like, I want to get healthy, and they focus too much on the gym when a lot of it is just eating better. At least that's helped me this year, is just being better about what I'm putting in my body.
Yeah. And I've taken a lot of my direction from you. So thank you for that.
I'm glad it's worked because I've only done YouTube research.
No, I do.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you eat really healthy meals. Pam is somebody else who doing lower carb, keto-ish meals, following along with that. And that's something that's really important to me this year. And Blue Apple should sponsor this podcast.
They should sponsor it. I tell everyone about Blue Apple. It's one of those, you ever have the one thing that just comes up in all of your conversations for some reason? Mine is often Blue Apple. I don't know why. I don't know why. It just comes up all the time. I probably suggest it to people once a month. Like it is, but mostly it's because people are wanting to eat better. And a lot of that is just not eating as much frozen stuff or pre-made stuff. And it's so much better than having to go back to the grocery store 2 or 3 times a week because you're having, or just dumping out, which I hate being wasteful. It's like the environmental scientist in me says, I'm tired of like throwing out food that I know I could have eaten. But I mean, are you doing the prepping and stuff too? Because that's something that's helped me is I just prep all my food. And if something's about to go bad, it gets cooked up and then frozen.
Yes, I used to do quite a bit of food prepping, but the part that I'm going to work on and going to get better at is doing that. Okay, and I just noticed it again today. I bought a big pack of mushrooms to use, like chicken and mushrooms, chicken and rice and mushrooms, and they go bad within 2 days.
Mushrooms do go bad.
Yes. So a part of that is getting better at it. When I do see the vegetables starting to wilt a little bit, I do need to just, even if I saute them and put them in the freezer,
right,
I can use them in the mornings then with breakfast with eggs, or throw them into a soup, or I just need to be better about it. And I will be. It's not, I'm going to try, I will do. I feel like Yoda. There is no try, only do. So that's something.
Yeah.
That's one of my goals, is to be healthy and not use food in that same realm.
Okay. And what's number 2? Oh, or one of mine?
Or do you want me to go right into number 2?
I'll do mine now. Okay. I see where this is going. Let's see. Oh, goodness.
And we have not talked about this.
We haven't. And that's the thing, is like, no. I kind of have a vague idea. I don't want to go right. I do have a nutrition goal too. I don't know if I should say it now.
Yeah, say it now.
Kind of in the same vein. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's more like exercising. So I have a few exercise goals. This past year I have lost a ton of weight, like a ton. And it's been very good just to like look back and see where I've gone. And I don't know. So I've done a lot of running, and that I feel like has gotten to the point where I'm happy with where I'm at, where I'm running. Like, I don't feel like I need to strive for more because I run every single day, typically like 2 to 3 miles. And I just don't feel, I've done my half marathon. I don't feel like I need to strive for that goal. So I do have a goal to be able to run a half marathon in a shorter amount of time than I did previously. I think my first time I ever did a half marathon, I ran it with a pace of 12 minutes and 19 seconds. So I would like to be able to run an 11-minute pace half marathon. That's not my New Year's resolution necessarily. So part of what I've always not struggled with, but I've always been a good runner when I try. And I ran track in high school, but I've always kind of neglected my upper body. Like, I've never had very strong arms. I'm very weak as far as my upper body. And I want to stay kind of my physique in my same, I want to look lean and everything, but I just want to be better about being stronger in my upper body and not neglecting it. And so part of one of the things I want to do is, I've never in my entire life been able to do a pull-up. Like, I've always wanted to. Even when I was at my most fit in like high school, I could never do a pull-up because I never worked out my arms. And I'm like, why am I so weak? Well, Ashley, you're weak because you never work out them. Like, you have to put in some effort. And so I've been working really hard on doing a ton of push-ups, and which doesn't necessarily work out the muscles that you need to do a pull-up, but it is one of my goals to be able to do a singular pull-up, because I don't want to get jacked and be able to do like 30 of them, but I do want to be able to do one. And so that's one of them. It's kind of simple, but I don't know. It's one of those things I've always wanted to do.
I love that. And I do remember you and I struggling to do a real push-up. I still to this day, I probably could if I absolutely had to,
Mhm.
but I still do my push-ups either on the wall, on the counter,
Mhm.
or I do it on my knees. And
Mhm.
I think, and you remember when you sent me the video of you doing 25 push-ups
Yes.
a day?
So I can do that's what's changed. So I can do 20 push-ups, I think, regularly. And recently someone's been telling me to try to do them like with your nose touching the ground, like straight and I can do 10 of those now, like straight down, like flat back, nose touching the ground. I'll send you a video of that too, because it's a new development in like pushing up. And so it's really cool. I've been trying to change the different angles. So like instead of being out, I do it side as well. Um, it's just crazy because I look back and I'm like, look how far in just a year. Like I just don't think I ever would have. I don't know. That's my nutrition goal, and then also eating better. I think I can step it up even more, and so like also because I've been doing a lot of running now. I can eat more, which is crazy. Like I can eat a lot. Oh, my Highland wants to say hello. my,
Oh,
my
hi,
sweet boy
Lynn.
next to me. But yeah, I'm trying to get much better about just eating, being really intentional about the food that I put in my body, and just making sure that I am fueled, because there were a couple of times where I'd want to run, but I wasn't fueling myself with enough carbs to be able to do it. And so just learning to do that balance of making sure my body is fueled, because your body's amazing and you should take care of it, and like don't ever like purge yourself of being able to eat things that it needs. So
Yeah, and that's something too you and I have talked about.
Mhm.
I believe I've even talked about it on the podcast too, about what would my 70-year-old self tell my 50-year-old self.
Yes.
And it is to
Okay.
get more healthy and to
Mhm.
be able to walk. I walked almost 5 miles yesterday and I
Mhm.
felt fine. I
Mhm.
was doing well. I jogged a little bit, nothing
Mhm.
wild, but I love your goals.
Yeah, well, I love yours. I think too, these are so attainable. Just like little things to I don't know, just like little things that you can substitute in your food. Like me and Ella, we hung out yesterday, and we were just talking. She's trying to get healthier for the new year as well, and I was helping her make different decisions as far as like, okay, instead of pasta, maybe you could try like long grain rice, different types of rice. And I told her about my oatmeal bowl, which I've stepped it up. I need to show you my new oatmeal bowl. It's new and improved. I had it again for breakfast this morning.
Well, tell us about it because I do
Oh,
do the Ashley oatmeal
oh,
bowl at least twice a week.
okay. Well, I'm going to say insert. Robin's going to edit this one because she's been editing.
I
She's
have
doing
been
so good. She's doing so good. So I'll have Robin. That'll be a new skill of yours to post a picture in here
okay.
of my oatmeal bowl. But it's so good because recently I do eat carbs. Like I'm not the whole keto thing, but I eat specific carbs. I don't eat a lot of like gluten things, even though I'm not gluten intolerant, but I do feel better when I don't eat them. Um, so I do have oatmeal. And so I do oatmeal as the base, and then I put chia seeds in it, and then I put walnuts. This is recently. You can see in the thing, walnuts, and then I put apple slices, and then I put, oh god, I'm trying to like picture, I put a scoop of peanut butter, and then I drizzle just like a tablespoon of maple syrup on top for some sweetness. And it's all natural, no high fructose corn syrup. This is where you want to splurge. Like look on the back because there is sugar. I mean, a lot of these will mix it with sugar. So like real maple syrup on top, some cinnamon, and then I sprinkle a little bit of hemp seeds on top. And it is so good. Like it
Mine
is
is
so good.
mine is super similar. I do
Yes.
in the morning, I'll come downstairs after I'll have worked for maybe a couple of hours and
Mhm.
then do my oats in a
Mhm.
bowl. And then either use oat milk or
Mhm.
almond milk and let it soak. And then I cook it for a minute
Mhm.
and then take it out. And I have black chia seeds,
Mhm.
hemp seeds, flaxseed or flax meal,
Mhm.
and then walnuts.
They're
And then
so
I do a
good.
fruit like blueberries. So I'll stick the
Mm,
blueberries in next,
I
cook
love
that down for another minute. And
mhm,
then I add the chia seeds, the hemp seeds, the
mhm.
flax meal, and the walnuts. So pretty
It's
similar.
very similar. It's
Mhm.
so good. Those good fats are so amazing for you. And Robyn knows this, and a few of our listeners I think knows too. Like I developed a fish allergy, and there's like a lot of in chia seeds. There's a lot of like good omega-3 stuff that I can't get from fish anymore, and so it's really helped like just rounding out my nutrition. Like even I will say, those who don't take multivitamins too, I highly recommend them. Like it has improved my health. Taking vitamin, like I feel like I just feel 5 years younger. I feel like I look 5 years younger, and just by like making sure that I'm getting enough of the right minerals and vitamins into my body, and also de-stressing. Like this kind of leads into nutrition. Do you mind if I add it too?
No, go ahead.
Okay, it's still kind of part of the making sure you're taking care of your body kind of thing. But I have always been a good sleeper, but I in the past have been kept up for some odd reason, you know. And so making sure, like if you're wanting to lose weight, one of the best things you can do is just get a good night's sleep. Like, and sometimes I would just stay up, and one of your cortisol levels, I think, spike or something. I'm not a nutritionist, but I know that those levels that can cause you to keep weight on spike if you stay up too late. You're not getting a full 8 hours. So I started taking these vitamins, and they're not melatonin or anything. It's called Elf. It's by Ollie. You can get them at Target. They're called De-Stress, and I take one before bed, and it's made with like an amino acid called L-theanine or something, and it's also got like lemon balm. But it relaxes me so much, and it causes me to get such an amazing restful sleep at night. Like even just adding that, I started losing even more weight by adding that, because I was getting such good quality sleep at night. Like it's not a sleep aid. It's not like melatonin that makes you drowsy a little bit. Like it just calms your mind a little bit. But it's completely, I mean, it's from Target. It's so good. But like good quality sleep makes a huge difference. Like
It does.
huge difference.
Ironically, today is the first day I told my husband, Matt, that I really felt that he was not getting the nutrients, the vitamins and minerals that he really needed. And we made an agreement that he would take a multivitamin for the next 3 months every day, or as close to every day. I know some days you're just going to miss it, but as much as possible. And today was day number 1 for him.
Yay.
So we'll see how he feels in 30 days. But I too feel strongly that you need to take a multivitamin. I mean, unless you're a nutritionist and you know exactly the proportions that you need, but I don't think that you can eat enough.
No, for me, there was no way I wasn't hitting like the certain amount of things that I needed to hit. And it's like in a lot of these vitamins, like the Ollie ones that I use, I think the only thing in there that's you're getting a lot of is like the B vitamins. You're getting like 500%, but most of the other ones, they account for the fact that you're getting a lot from your diet. So some of the other things in there, you're only getting 20% added, but it's really helped me. And obviously do your research. And if you're worried about, talk to your doctor. The vitamin that I take is just from Target, but it makes me feel so much better. My skin looks better. My hair has grown so much. Like it's so healthy. And that's all I have to say about the nutrition thing.
Can we go on to resolution number 2?
Yes.
You don't know about this either.
Oh, good.
Yeah. My second resolution for the new year for 2021 will be manifesting.
Oh, this is my favorite topic. I want to do a whole episode on this.
As Ashley knows, Ashley's been super busy the past few months. And a friend of mine, Pam, who's Tyler's mom, and I have been talking about manifesting. And I brought it up, or Ashley had been manifesting, or you've been manifesting for quite some time. And I brought it up, and Ashley was all about it. Unfortunately, hit a really bad busy streak. And now we are going to be setting up a time in the near future, thank goodness, to do some manifesting. In the meantime, Pam and I have just been doing some YouTube. I started watching The Secret yesterday. I'm really mentally prepared to focus now number one on the health, like I had mentioned, and just being healthy,
Mhm.
making healthier choices. And then the second thing is manifesting. And I cannot wait. I'm super excited.
It's so fun. Like you mentioned busy streak. Part of it is because I manifested where I currently am now living on my own again. And part of it was like getting this apartment. Like I have been looking for a place and didn't really necessarily need a house or anything, but I wanted something of my own. I moved into my new place and it's amazing. And it was exactly what I was looking for. And Robyn was there the whole time. She helped me make my decision. So
I
she,
did.
yeah, it's literally everything I could ever want. Like I showed Robyn my notebook earlier this year. I don't know when I started manifesting.
I'm
Like
going to say maybe late April, May.
late April and May, I started hearing about manifesting, and I kind of I feel like I've been doing it since I was younger. Just I didn't have a name for it. Like everything that I've always like put my energy and mind to, I've kind of gotten. But it's all about you have to put your energy and mind to it. So it's like the things that I said I wanted, but I didn't actually put any energy into it, I didn't get. Makes sense. But yeah, I have a notebook that I write everything that I wanted to manifest, and then I put all of this like energy and time, and just like I just focus a lot of even just like mental um just thinking about it. And Robyn, I'll write down things in it, and then like months later they'll happen, and it's the craziest thing. And I didn't believe it at first, and that's part of it. It's like it didn't happen until I really started believing that it did. And like all these things have like I have pages of things that I have written down that have all come true. Like it's really outrageous.
It was so
Yeah.
interesting because Ashley did show me her pages. And when these things started happening for her, I knew it was real because I saw them weeks and months earlier. But if you were to tell somebody that, like,
Mhm.
oh, Ashley manifested this, they'd say, sure, she did. But I really saw
Right.
you manifesting it again weeks and months before it came true. So I know
It's
it's
real.
there. And
That's
I do think
yeah.
I've been manifesting for years as well.
Right. You probably have been
Yeah, it just didn't really realize what I was
what you
doing,
were doing.
sending out those positive vibes to the world. So that's my
Yeah.
New Year's resolution.
Oh, yay. I'm so excited. Oh, we should definitely have a podcast on it. So here's another funny story about manifesting. And this is an example of where you might have done it in the past and not known it. So I just moved, and I've been in my new place for maybe a week and a few days, week and 2 days or something. And as many of you know, I have a dog. He's down below me right now. And I've been looking through, like going through a lot of my old stuff and donating. And I found a notebook the other day. So I have always loved dogs, and I've always wanted, like when I moved to college, like the amount of times I've asked my parents to let me adopt a dog has been outrageous. And they always say no every time. Well, anyways, when I saw Highland for the first time, I went home and I wrote down Highland will be mine in a notebook. And like I was lived in a dorm at the time. There was no way that should have happened. Like, but I wrote that down like every single day that I was going to own Highland. And then my parents let me have him. And then everything lined up where he couldn't be adopted for 4 months. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what manifesting is. Like you write it down and you believe that will happen. And at the time I believed it would happen. And I was like, this is literally eerie because I wrote it down and it happened. And now Highland is my dog. And it's just the craziest thing because in it shouldn't have happened necessarily because it didn't make sense that it happened, but it did. And it's the crazy thing.
I like it. I cannot wait for our sessions to start. And
I
I
know.
think too, in the trading group that I'm in, there was somebody started a December thing. And I said, oh, this is manifesting. A couple of us and I are going to start really meeting, hopefully, on a regular basis once things calm down a little bit. And then we're going to be manifesting. And I said to the people in the group, you're more than willing to join us in manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll throw it out there to any of the listeners. If any of the listeners are interested in manifesting with us or learning about it, doing some research on it, come on board. More the merrier. We are
I love
open
it.
to all suggestions.
Yeah. It's really cool to do it in a group too, because like you said, you can see the actual progress. Like I started writing down in my notebook because I knew people wouldn't believe me. I started writing down the dates that I was like writing these down because at first I didn't have dates. I would show you. but I started writing down dates because it started happening so often that I was like, I want to know what the typical runtime on like these things happen. Like, is it like 2 weeks? Like, it's because it was happening so fast. I'm like, I just kind of want to keep track of like when I'm writing these down and when they're actually happening. And it's cool now because I have all these dates and stuff. But I know there's like even better ways to make it happen. So I'm so proud of you for doing it, and it's super cool. Like, I know it's going to happen for you because you believe, you know.
I am. Are you willing to share your most recent manifest?
Which one?
The money.
Oh, yeah, this is really weird. So, I mean, it's not super, I mean, it's kind of cool, but so one of the first things I did is like I did like a test, and you're supposed to like manifest coins or something. And so it is funny because I did not believe it would happen. This is the pre-story. One of the things is they said you can manifest like coins, and so they said give it like 3 days. And so I like was like, this isn't gonna work. Like, I never find money on the ground or whatever. Anyways, I found 3 coins, which has been my lucky number recently, is the number 3. So anyways, the other day I had done like all sorts of other things like job manifestation, like relationship manifestation, all of that, and a lot of that has come true. But the other day I was like, why am I not doing this with money? Because all the other things have come true. And so I'm like, I would still like to make more money, which is another one of my resolutions. And so I've been like listening to all of these different, just meditating on it before night, and then like listening to all these other ways that I could like put my energy into it. So the other day I had literally listened to like a meditation about it. I fell asleep to it. The next day I woke up and my mom goes, "Hey, your dad was going," and it was like basically manifesting like a larger amount of money, and didn't think anything of it. And my mom texted me the next day and she goes, "Hey, your dad was cleaning out the safety deposit box the other day and found this like old savings bond with your name on it. It's like it was hidden at the back, and it's like this some odd amount of money." And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, not thinking anything of it. And then I was like doing my hair and I was like, oh my gosh, like I literally was doing this last night. And I was like, I didn't think anything of it, but it was like mind blowing because that was basically what I had meditated on the night. Is like, I wanted some unexpected money to come into my life. And I put my energy towards it, and it happened literally the next day when my mom was like, "Hey, here's a savings bond with your name on it." Like, and we thought, she's like, her exact words were, "I thought we had given you all of these, but there was one left." And I was like, isn't that so random though?
I think it's amazing. I am
That's so
so
weird.
looking forward to our adventures.
I don't know. I thought it was so weird. Like, what are the chances of that happening though? And like
Well,
her word, no,
out there.
that's the thing. Someone told me to stop saying weird and saying wondrous instead. So I started saying that instead
I
because it's
do
not
like
weird.
wondrous.
It's not weird, it's wondrous.
You alluded to your second resolution.
Oh God. Oh yeah, to make more money. So sorry.
Passive income.
Passive income, yes. So I've been doing a lot of like random getting things like lined up. But one of my New Year's resolutions is, I have a job that I love and I work at it every day, and the people I work with are amazing, and I just get so excited to work in the morning. But I do want to make $1,000 in passive income per month and not have to do much for it. So I guess that's the definition of passive. So we'll start putting that out into the universe, and I'm gonna really start like trying to go hard on what that looks like. And part of the manifesting thing is putting what you want out into the universe, and not necessarily telling the universe how you want to do it, but saying that you don't just worry about the outcome, don't worry about the how, because the universe will figure that out. Like, things will happen and it'll bring it to you. So that's, yeah, passive income. What about your number 2?
My number 2 was manifesting.
Oh yeah, sorry. What's your number 3? That's what I want.
Ooh, number 3. I don't know that I have a number 3. I think these two, for me personally, are going to take my entire 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really going to focus.
Yeah. And I think another reason that so many people go really gung-ho at the beginning of the New Year's, and they'll have like 10 resolutions. And sometimes it's too many, because you have to be able to put your focus, and you have too many buckets that you're trying to pour all of your energy into. It'll never happen. That's why, like, when I started doing the manifesting stuff, I only focused on one thing at a time, because if you focus on all of them at once, nothing gets done.
No, I think that's a really good idea. And being healthier has a few parts to it. So it's more than just one thing. But yeah, I'm only going to do two. I'm only going to focus
That's
on
awesome.
two things. And I'm excited.
Yeah.
I
Oh, go ahead.
yours.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have one more resolution and part of it is my last resolution is just to travel more because I've always traveled with someone else. And one of the reasons, so I'm recently, I'm living on my own again. And so I've always traveled with someone else. And recently at the beginning of this year, I got really upset because I was like, oh no, I'll have no one to travel with, And I just thought to myself, there's no reason I can't do the things that I want to do just by myself. And so, granted, I have people that want to travel with me. And that was just more of at the time I was thinking that way, but traveling more and doing the things that I want to do for me and not necessarily needing someone else to do them with me. But so I had one of the places that I want to travel first is Arizona. So I just got tickets for that the other day. So I'm yes, there's for next year. So hopefully COVID will go away soon. So it'll be okay to go.
Is it later in the month or later in the year?
It's in February. So hopefully it'll be fine. If I have to, I'll push it back. It depends. My tickets are one of those ones that you just keep getting credit back until you use them. So I was like, I'm being very optimistic.
I'm sure you'll be able to travel.
Yeah. So I got the tickets the other day and I'm going with someone. So, it'll be very, very fun. But yeah, I've been really, speaking of signs and stuff, I've been really feeling this weird calling to go to Arizona for some reason for a while. Like this whole year, I just keep seeing the word Arizona. I keep seeing billboards with Arizona. One of the bands that I've just recently fallen in love with, their name's Arizona. I bought a painting the other day. That painting that I loved at that estate sale is of Arizona. So I'm going to Sedona, which is like one of the really popular places to go right now, but I'm really excited. So that's just one of the places that I hope to go and hope to add a whole lot more,
and you'll be traveling to Wisconsin in July for
the marathon. I'm so excited about that. And Austin.
Yes, we're going to Austin. That's right. June. We're going to Austin in June.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think I'm going to be going to Tampa pretty soon as well. Hopefully when things settle down again, like
what's in Tampa?
Oh, just going because here's the real story behind this. The reason Tampa, the other day I had this weird thing where I was like, I just really want to pet a manatee. I want to pet a manatee so bad. And so I researched it and there are ways you can pet it legally. You can go to the places, there's like this river near Tampa and you can go and you have to float around very quietly. And if a manatee approaches you, you may pet it.
Interesting. I had no idea.
As far as I knew, I've read some stuff. Please don't take that to heart. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I did read that if one approaches you, you can slowly pet it. So. And if not, I just want to swim around them because I think they're beautiful creatures and I don't have to necessarily pet them, but for some reason I just want to be around manatees. I don't know what it is.
Do it. I think that's fantastic.
And that's this part of my 2021 resolution is to just, when I want to do something, I'm just going to do it. And the whole manatee thing has been on my mind recently. So
I love that.
That's the real story of Tampa. So hopefully going to go there soon.
I would love to hear what our listeners have for New Year's resolutions. So please send them in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything. We would email. We would love to hear about it.
Mm-hmm. Please do. Oh, the New Year's resolution. It is a really cool time. And even though, so many people will not actually do the New Year's resolutions, I believe that we totally can. And especially when you're around a group that is there to like help and pump you up, it's so much easier to keep a New Year's resolution if you have people around you that encourage you.
I agree. It's way easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I look really white right now. So maybe my third resolution would be to get a tan.
Well, in Austin, we can go hang out by the pool.
Okay. That sounds good.
There you go. It's closer to the equator than Wisconsin.
Way closer.
Do you get sunburns in the wintertime? Or in the summertime?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you remember my face being really red from being outside?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe.
And in the winter we can get sunburned or windburned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I get windburn all the time for some reason. My skin does not like the wind, or it's like cold. Doesn't it have to do with cold?
Yeah.
I've never understood that. I can always feel it too coming on because my face is burning right here. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh my gosh. So those are our New Year's resolutions, everybody.
Yes. It's so exciting. I mean, we've been doing this podcast for like a little over a year, and we'll have to come up with our New Year's resolutions for the podcast too.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
We've been having so much fun. It didn't even come out.
I know. So that'll be it for Robyn and I to have a secret meeting about.
Secret meeting.
Yeah.
Well, we could do Blue Apple as a sponsor.
Mm-hmm. We do want to get sponsorships at some point.
Yeah, we should manifest sponsorships.
Blue Apple, we're coming for you. That's such a specific sponsorship too.
It is, but that's okay. You need to be specific to manifest.
You have to be specific. It's very specific sponsorship. I feel like, why do you have an interest in this? Because I recommend you to everybody. Yeah.
Well, Ashley, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on again. I mean, we're always here together, but
we love it.
We love it. It's so fun. Yep. And look forward to seeing how this is gonna work out.
We'll have to do like a mid-year update.
Yeah, like a July update or something.
Yeah. When you're here for the marathon.
Yeah, that'd be so perfect. Are you doing the half marathon?
I'm doing that. I will be walking and jogging the half marathon.
The half marathon. Okay. That's where I'm gonna try to hit my 11. Ooh, that's gonna be hard. It takes a long time.
Yeah, I can't even do like a 20-minute mile. So an 11-minute mile is just way.
It's so.
That is like a goal.
Yeah, and it's gonna be really brutal here. And I don't like running on a treadmill. It doesn't simulate running on pavement at all, and it actually messes up my running gait. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do it in the winter. I think I'm just gonna have to get a lot of cold weather clothes. So it's okay. But yeah, it'll be super fun. We'll do it when I'm up there in July.
That sounds awesome.
All right. Until next time, stay awesome.
And keep reaching for your anything.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.